Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. He is our normal Sunday guest, but he is wildly busy, expecting his first child. He's going to be famous on TV shortly. The one and only Todd Baldwin. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for giving us time. I know it was last minute. It was very gracious of you to accept and make it happen. I see that you and the lumberjack, Matt the lumberjack, were just in another Business Insider article. Awesome. But I hear you guys are doing something idiotic, stupid, dumb. You know, you're talking about having $1 million in freaking cash, dude. Haven't you heard that cash is trash? What the hell are you thinking?
I have absolutely heard that cash is trash, but I'm not. I don't think we're going to have this huge, insane real estate crash like in '08, but I do think eventually prices will come down. That's what I believe personally. Maybe they won't, maybe they will. But I'm hanging on to cash to execute real estate deals because I will tell you one thing, Michael Zuber, I am not paying 6.28% interest or whatever it was yesterday. I'd rather pay cash than that. So I'm keeping a piggy bank.
Oh, so that's interesting. So you would rather pay. So these are, I shouldn't assume. So let me ask, this is a real estate investment. This isn't a primary home or owner-occ situation. You would rather pay cash for an investment property.
If the alternative is paying 6 or 7% interest, then yes.
Wow. You and I vastly disagree on that.
Really?
So we're going to have to talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
So again, this is how I see it. Again, I understand on an owner occ, it doesn't produce income. Obviously you house hack and all of that. So that's kind of the best of both worlds. But as I'm sitting here right here today, let's just say for whatever reason, I found the house that Olivia and I have always dreamed about. And we could write a check for it today or pay 7% interest. I might write that check today, right? Because the house doesn't produce income. However, any investment property I see, I will calculate. I don't care if the interest rate's 10%. I've paid 12%. I just have to buy a better deal. I want the debt. Let's just snap our fingers and debt's 10%. I will do more deals because I have the right mindset. I will only write great deals, which will mean they will pencil day one. The yield will be amazing. And what I'll do is I'll just hold them until someday in the future, the Fed screws up again and rates go to 4%. I'll refi, my cash flow explodes. By doing that, I simply can buy more, right? I won't overpay. I won't get alligators, as you know, but I would never pay cash for an investment property today, at least long term. If I needed to pay cash in a 7-day close and I could burr out 80% later, okay. But I would never pay cash for a property today. Talk about dumb moves. I mean, geez, what are you thinking?
So here's where I'm coming from. I would pay cash for an investment property in the right circumstances.
Okay.
Whether it's, high interest rates, or, it's an amazing property and there's a lot of competition and they want a fast close.
Sure.
Because let's say I pay cash for, let's say it's a $2 million property. Okay. If I pay cash for it and I'm not paying interest rates, yes, I use up $2 million in cash. But I can always take a HELOC afterwards if I want to, when interest rates go down. And so that's sort of my strategy is like, let's say right now interest rates are at 7%, but in 3 years, they'll be back down to 4%.
Sure.
Well, then I can pay cash today and then I can HELOC it out at 4%. The other thing too, is you and I both live in pretty liberal parts of the country.
True.
And
yeah.
Yes.
Understatement.
I think landlords have a real bad rap right now. And I think that coming down the pipeline is going to be probably a lot of rent control, zoning laws, perhaps more eviction moratoriums. And if I'm going to buy a property, I want to make sure that in the worst case scenario, let's say eviction moratoriums and 30% of my tenants stop paying rent, that I'm not left with this huge monthly bill. Sure. And so it's sort of a defensive strategy until the waters sort of clear. And the reason for this is I probably wouldn't have considered it before the government decided to act and telling landowners what they can and cannot do with their property. Sure. Because that's the new precedence, I'm sort of in defense mode.
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand the logic. I think it is ass backwards, frankly. I mean, I just do, right? I mean, the time of high rates is the time to stack inventory that cash flows, that performs at the high rates, right? Anybody out there buying today and going, I'll refine, I know there are some people that are doing this. Don't do this. I'm going to buy the deal today. It's an alligator because I have to pay 7, 8, 9%. But Michael, I believe that Jerome Powell is going to cut rates in 2024, and I have a great job, and I can hold this thing for 24 months, and eventually I'll refi and I'll be good. No, you won't. Stop it. That's not what I approve. Cash flow day one, great deal yield day one, and don't deploy all your cash. Todd's going to get 1 or 2 deals, and I'm going to get 20. And then I'm going to refi in 20 in 5 years, and all my cash flow is going to explode thousands of dollars, and he's going to be left with 2 and a couple of HELOCs. You've got to change your mind on this. That's just ass backwards thinking.
Well, Michael Zuber, perhaps when you have as much money as me and the lumberjack, putting $1 million in cash aside ain't no thing.
Maybe our stacks are just different. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Who knows what a nest egg could be for one versus another? I mean, hell, if we were talking to, a guy like Grant Cardone, right? Cash is trash. He might have 10 million bucks in cash because he's got so much freaking money, right?
Yeah.
Who knows?
And he produces. The key is this is the wrinkle that we're really not talking about. If you have $1 million put aside, but you don't really have cash flow every month, that $1 million doesn't last. However, if you have $1 million and you're stacking 50 grand a month, well, guess what? You got another 600 grand in 12 months, right? So it's a very different strategy. I'm of course ribbing you. I do think it's wrong. But every investor is his own, but still, first off, getting to a point where you have 7 figures in cash is amazing. It's discipline, it's consistency, it's recycling capital. I know the lumberjack story. He recycled capital on purpose. Mm-hmm. He has an amazing portfolio that he's built over 18 years. And he likely has none of his own money in his deals because he recycles capital and he pulls it out, right? Think about that. You have, 100 units, none of your own capital. You have all your capital back and it still cash flows 20%. Score.
Amazing.
Score.
Amazing.
Yeah. So for me, because I want to talk about this, right? I do not and never have thought cash is trash since I stacked more cash. I get the whole, Michael, you're losing 8% a year to inflation. Well, I didn't lose 30% in the stock market. I didn't lose 70% in the crypto market, but okay. To me, the 8% is an option on future opportunities, right? I am willing to lose 8 to get 40. What do I mean by 40? I want a 40% yield because there's some seller somewhere in stress. Now, I will absolutely use my stack to get a deal with speed. You and I agree on that. No question. The only difference, I think, is I would go get most of my money, probably 80% of it, back in 3 to 6 months, depending on the seasoning rules from the lender. Because again, the big thing about 2010 taught me is to recycle as fast as you can. Mm-hmm. It's stack deals. Boom, 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 boom. Because again, what did I spend the last 2 years doing? I sold off a couple of C-class apartments and then I refied all my debt. I'll do it again. I honestly wish 30-year rates would go to 10%. Owner occupant market would stop instantly. Mm-hmm. Investors would freak the hell out. And I would go fishing for motivated sellers like nobody's business.
Yeah. Oh, well, perhaps maybe I didn't articulate my point well enough. So when I'm paying cash for a deal, I'm not paying full price.
Oh, no. Agree.
Right,
You're getting a discount. Yep.
Yeah. And that's what I'm doing, right? Is I have cash. Mm-hmm. People are afraid to buy because interest rates are so, or they can't get approved, right? So if there's an $800,000 house mm-hmm. that I can go pick up for 350 grand in cash, 7-day close.
Yeah.
And that's kind of an extreme example, but it's doable sure. on the right, circumstance. Yeah. But if I can visualize this, I've built up a pretty nice castle, right?
Yes.
And now what I need to do is create a moat because I've got to protect my castle. I've got to protect what I've built.
Agreed.
And having cash in the bank is also, to me, it's almost like insurance at that point where it's like, okay, I got this cushion, of course, still making,
yeah.
I'm making like 6 figures a week at this point.
Jeez.
So it's
all right, fair enough. Yeah. I'm not doing that.
So it's like,
I don't think I've ever done that.
The cash is like my moat and then my archers on the top of the castle. Like I am the king with my queen in the castle. We got the baby coming soon. This is to protect the castle.
Yeah. So again, I just want to play it out because we disagree. And I love when I disagree with my guests because it just mm-hmm. shows the world there's lots of ways to do this. 800K house, I'm going to use easier numbers, 400K cash. and you have to close in 7 days, I write that check. No question.
Mhm.
No problem. The only difference is, at least I think this is a different, is I would go back probably to a non-QM lender. And in that instance, I would refi out my 400K. I would not take more than 400. Like a lot of people would be like, well, why wouldn't you take 550? I'm not about over leverage. I
Mhm.
want my 400 back or 380 back with transaction costs, put it back in the stack so I can go do another one and another one. Because the house will cash flow at 380, I'm assuming, or else I wouldn't do the deal.
Mhm.
And then in 5 years or 10 years, when rates get back to 4%, I'll refi and my cash will explode. For me,
Mhm.
that $1 million is not endless. I'm certainly not making anywhere close to what you make in a week or a month. So maybe that's the issue. I need to make more money. Maybe wouldn't be a bad thing. But yeah, for me, it's like, use it, take it back, use it, take it back. And again, the moat gets bigger because I just got a 400K house or an 800K house for 400 grand and it cash flows. So let's go do it again and again and again. So that's what I'm thinking.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I think it's a good strategy. And I think,
just different than yours.
yeah. And that's fair, right?
Yeah.
There's certainly no one size fits all.
Yep.
Robert Kiyosaki has a very different strategy than Dave Ramsey. Well, both men are gargantuously rich, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That is very well said. So
Mhm.
again, I think where we do agree is cash is never trash. Cash is an option, an opportunity. Cash is speed. Cash is a moat. Cash is protection from government stupidity, criminal behavior. Yeah, we totally agree with that. Yeah, I just want you to go look. I want you to do the math. I mean, put it in front of you. Because I think if you look at it, and again, if the strategy is to buy 800K houses for 400, you can buy a lot more. And all of those will cash flow. They will make your castle better. And then when you play it out in the future, it's free money. So I would just ask you to look at that again. Because
I agree. And the last, well, I'll leave it is, sometimes for me, at this point in my life, it's not always all about the math.
Sure.
And for example, when the Tesla Roadster comes out, I will be buying that car. That is a really dumb thing to do. It's a $200,000 battery with wheels. And I will be buying it, right? If I was doing the math, I'd be like,
Yeah.
what? This makes zero sense.
Yeah.
But it's not always about the math. When you hit a certain level, by the way, I was making $500,000 a year and I live with 6 roommates. So like I was incredibly frugal up until the point where I don't have to be frugal anymore.
Right.
And I'm still actually pretty frugal on most things.
Yeah.
But it's not all about the math. It's about, where's my peace going to come from? And perhaps my peace at this stage is simplifying and having a little bit less debt and a little bit more cash. And we'll see, and things will ebb and flow, and things might change, but I'm open is what I have. And I think having cash ready to deploy gives me options.
Oh, exactly. Cash is options. One thing that is very clear about you, the lumberjack, and I is the cash for us is a tool, and we will leverage it for opportunities, and they will be great opportunities. You and I would not buy an 800K house for 700. Doesn't move the needle. It's going to be a deal. And we'll just wait. That's one thing that's awesome with cash is, oh, you don't want 700 or you don't want 450. I'll wait.
Yes.
I'll wait. Yeah. So do me a favor. Where can people find you?
Yeah. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, I can be found at Todd J. Baldwin.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.